This one has been cooking. It is good. It is cooked long enough. It is time to serve it up on a platter. Because, chat, we are finishing off tonight's stream with the Fat Electrician, talking about the most gangster beverage company on Earth. Yeah, I've let this one cook for a couple days. It's time to feast. Are we ready to finish off the stream right? Guys, it says it right here. Hi, chat. It's Sunday. It's the last stream in the night. Last video of the night. It's the Fat Electrician. Let's fucking go.
Alright, this is easily the most requested business for me to look into. Today we're talking about Arizona tea, and I think the reason so many people have requested this is fairly obvious. Clearly Arizona is up to something, selling these giant cans of tea for 99 cents, which right out of the gate feels weird, but then it gets even weirder when you...
Wait. Arizona iced tea has really been 99 cents? Seriously? Okay, this I was unaware of. I always thought Arizona iced tea was, like, more. It's been a while since I've had any, but I always thought Arizona iced tea was much more, was, like, more than that. No kidding. Okay.
You realize that they've been selling that same can of tea for the same exact price since 1992. Okay, inflation has gone up 124% since then, meaning that if they just wanted to maintain everything, that can of tea should cost at least $2.24. Okay, bear in mind, we live in a world where as of 2021, the Dollar Tree is now the $1.25 tree, okay? The only other product that is sacred is the Costco $1.50 hot dog. And to make that even kind of feasible, Costco had to go out and buy 2 hot dog making factories, and they still lose money on it, okay? The only reason Costco's staying in business is because they make so much money on all the other things they sell, they can just afford to take a loss on the hot dog, which makes the Arizona tea can absolutely insane because it's the equivalent of Costco only selling hot dogs. They have to be losing money. It doesn't even seem feasible. They're clearly up to something, and we're going to get into it right after a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Rocket Money, your all-in-one finance app that's going to help you cancel subscriptions, lower your monthly bills, and overall manage your money better. Rocket Money covers pretty much everything. They will let you monitor your credit score. They help you manage your budget by letting you see all of your expenses in one easy location, and then if you want them to, they can actually go in and help negotiate a lower price on some of your bills, like your cell phone, for example. And they don't just save you money by negotiating down some of your bills, they also help you identify and cancel a bunch of subscriptions that you probably didn't even know that you had. And this is my favorite part because me and my wife, mostly my wife, has a horrible habit of signing up for free trials on apps and then forgetting to cancel them. But luckily, Rocket Money's here to let me know that I've been spending $7.99 a month every month for the past 3 years on some photo editing app that my wife used one time for an Instagram post. Yeah, babe, what's up?
How many guns did you buy this year?
Oops. And yes, what's your question, Mac?
No comment. Wait, what? How do you even know I'm talking about you right now? Did you bug my office?
A, don't worry about it. B, keep my name out of your mouth.
All right. I gotta finish the ad. I gotta go. Love you. That could have went better. Anyways, if you want to take control of your finances today, go check out Rocket Money. I will have a link in the description down below. Let's get back to the video. There's a baby monitor in my office. All right, our story begins with the owner of Arizona Tea, John.
That was pre-recorded. Like, we saw that in one of his other videos. That ad we actually saw that exact ad on one of his other videos. Huh. Yeah.
Voltaggio. In the 1970s, he was a truck driver for an alcohol distribution service. John Voltaggio. In the 1970s, he was a truck driver for an alcohol distribution service. Essentially, he was driving a truck around the city and he would deliver all the alcohol to convenience stores and gas stations, and he did that for years. After doing this for years, him and his co-worker John Farolito decided they're going to start their own distribution service. However, as I'm sure you can imagine...
Yeah, Taurus, I know most of his are... Thank you, Bath. I know most of his ads are pre-recorded, But I was just saying, like, we'd actually seen that exact ad before. Like, that exact one. That's what I was surprised. But, like, obviously he pre-records his ads, but I never thought we saw, like, we've never seen a duplicate of the same ad. That's what I'm saying. I can't recall seeing a duplicate of that ad.
That's a very tough business to get into, and initially the only clients that they
Is
could
there
get were all the
I don't
convenience
recall
stores
it.
and gas stations on the sketchy part of town that nobody else wanted to deliver to, but they did it anyways. Then, after they had a fairly successful distribution service, they figured, hey, we're already carrying all these different types of beverages to deliver them to all the convenience stores, and we have those relationships. What if we started our own brewery and started making our own alcoholic beverage, and then we could just have one more product to be able to offer all these clients? So they did, and that was fairly successful also. So now that they have their own alcohol, they have to figure out how to market it. And this is where John Voltaggio really figures out how to market a product, and he looks around at all the other successful products in the alcohol market in the 1980s. And let's just call a spade here. The 1980s is the pinnacle of the sleazy advertisement era, okay? I mean, we've got Camels trying to sell children-flavored cigarettes, and we've got every alcohol company on the planet desperately trying to convince you that if you drink fucking Bud Light or Coors Light or whatever, a supermodel is going to be attracted to you and your beer gut. So John Voltaggio, learning how to market a product, he's like, okay, step one, make it cool. Step two, have a supermodel with huge cans promote it. Easy. They then proceed to name their beer Midnight Dragon, which is the coolest fucking name for a beer I've ever heard. And this is in 2024. If you adjust for
oh yes, Brett Basson. I'm familiar with Spuds MacKenzie. I've seen the videos of Spuds MacKenzie. Hi Llama. Yep. Well, and I'm trying to remember, wasn't there was some kind of drama about Spuds MacKenzie too. Like I think they were like equating Spuds MacKenzie with pit bulls or something like that. Some kind of bullshit thing back in the day. I can't remember what exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, Geronimo's. That's the funny thing. Newports were marketed to yuppie white couples, and yet it wasn't white people that were buying the Newports. I always found that funny. Yeah, she was a bull terrier, but I think someone was trying to equate Buzz MacKenzie being a bull terrier to a pit bull or something like that. Yeah, like it was stupid. It was incredibly stupid, but I think they were trying. There was people were trying to correlate the two improperly. Oh yeah, Geronimo's. Yeah. This and those kind of cigarettes are still around today, like those super slim ones. And usually it is women who still buy them, like those super skinny cigarettes. They're still around and they're still 100% marketed to like the wine moms.
Inflation, it had to have been way cooler back in the 1980s. I mean, even today, that's a brilliant name. Imagine going over to your buddy's house, he opens up the fridge. Oh, what did you want to drink? We've got Miller Lite and Midnight Dragon.
Dragon?
I mean, at that point, you could literally be a Miller Lite guy, and you're still gonna try at least one Midnight Dragon. You have to. So, step one, make it cool. Check. Step two, make it sexy, right? Sex sells. I present to you their first ever advertisement, a beer poster of a model.
Chat, hang on. You can go sit on top of Nick for a second. So, chat. Would that sell you on Midnight Dragon? Yeah. Yeah, it's a 40. Oh yeah. Geronimo's? Yeah, there is definitely something about a woman wearing garters and thigh-high stockings. Yes, indeed. That is thigh-high stockings and garters is the pinnacle of feminine sexiness. I agree. Maybe, Kaiba. Maybe. Really, Lurker? I don't hate you for it. I don't hate you for it. Everybody has their own preferences. Well, and you know what? I think these days also, it's considered especially sexy these days because women typically don't wear thigh highs with garters. Like women don't like, and no, I don't count like the thought like the socks, like the thigh high socks. I don't consider those are not the same thing. Those are not the same thing. Those are socks. They are not stockings. They are not the lacy nylon stockings.
Cheer 100. You know what would sell me on Midnight Dragon? A hot Canadian cat girl.
No. You want me to put on some thigh highs with garters and a corset? Hmm? How that? Well, and I mean, let's face it. They're sexy because women don't wear that much anymore. It's all pantyhose. Women don't wear stockings, either stay-up stockings or with garters. They're not worn very often anymore. So they're even more sexy these days. And remember a while back I talked about how part of what makes a woman.
Midnight Dragon sounds like something you would buy from a guy on the corner for libido. Cheer 100.
Not wrong, you're not wrong. Here's the thing, like with stockings and garters, this is kind of like, do you remember when I was talking about how my theory where men are attracted to women more when they're clothed versus completely naked? This is kind of one of it, is the stockings and the garters are so intrinsically feminine. I think that's why guys love them so much. It is such an intensely feminine piece of clothing or lingerie. It is distinctly feminine. And that's why men find it so hot, is because it is just intensely feminine. It is. It's very very provocative. Yeah? Oh yeah.
In red lingerie holding a 40
And they're sexy
of
to
Midnight
wear.
Dragon with a straw with the caption, "I could suck on this all night." The fact that it's a 40 is just completely outrageous. Like, the notion that anyone in the history of mankind has ever been drinking a 40 while simultaneously also concerned about smearing their lipstick is just completely unhinged. Like, I need a part 2 of this beer advertisement. I know that straw doesn't reach the bottom of that 40. What happens when the straw doesn't reach anymore? Do you just throw it away and get another 40? Or are you going to be so drunk off the first 20 ounces you're not going to care about your lipstick anymore? I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, so this goes on until like 1990, and John Voltaggio, while he's delivering beer one day, there's another distributor there, and he's actually dropping off a bunch of Snapple. And John Voltaggio is just like captivated by it because it's the middle of winter. Why?
Yeah, joining Mo's, I was thinking the same thing. When that straw isn't working anymore, yeah, she's gonna work that bottleneck. Definitely.
On earth would anybody be drinking iced tea in the
Really,
middle of winter? It
RoboSpark?
doesn't make any sense to him.
Okay, so the idea, RoboSpartan, if you're looking at historical context, the idea of lipstick was to color a woman's lips to more closely resemble, and remember, this is historical. This is not me doing lewd stuff. This is historical context. Lipstick is the purpose of lipstick originally was to color a woman's lips to more closely resemble her genitals. That, or at least the perception of what a woman's genitalia looks like. That was the purpose of lipstick in its original form. And of course, it's obviously evolved from there with all the varied lipstick colors and everything. But that's how it started. And the idea, I suppose, kind of still remains. Basically. As far as like the nails go, it's just, bright colors attract the eye. That's with with nail polish. It's bright colors attract the eye, and women, especially with longer fingernails, they, the color basically flashes and it attracts the male gaze. That's kind of the basic history of coloring of the nails.
The middle of winter, why on earth would anybody be drinking iced tea in the middle of winter? It doesn't make any sense to him, but apparently a bunch of people enjoy it, so he's like, that's it. I'm gonna start selling tea. So the first thing Don has to figure out is the proposition, right? Why would anybody drink his tea over Snapple? Snapple's already an established brand. So he starts to thinking on how he's gonna set himself different, how he's gonna set himself apart, how he's gonna be better. Now I'm just guessing, but I'm assuming at this point he refers back to all of his experience, all of his knowledge, all of the lessons that he's learned from marketing and distributing beer over the past decade. And when you distill all that knowledge down, he knows that you have to make it cool and you have to make it sexy, right? Because sex sells. The problem is iced tea isn't exactly an adult beverage. There might be a lot of kids drinking this beverage too, and having some model with huge cans marketing it might be a little aggressive for something that...
Nah, I disagree. You think that the kids that are going to be drinking it are at about that age where they're going to be noticing girls? So, having a model with big tits promoting your Arizona iced tea, you're still going to get the kids. You will still get the kids, trust me.
That children might be drinking, and then it hits him. Huge cans. We'll get rid of the model and just keep the giant cans. Okay, now like the textbook business term for this strategy is called a value proposition. Basically, he's decided that Snapple is 16 ounces and it costs like, I don't know, $1.29, whatever it costs. He's coming in and he's like, cool, I'm gonna sell more. I'm gonna sell 23 ounce cans and I'm gonna sell it for less. I'm gonna sell it for 99 cents. That's the value proposition. You're gonna get more for less. Okay, that's what a textbook's gonna tell you, but I'm dubbing this the big can strategy, right? Because we've seen this time and time again, okay? Think about Monster Energy. Monster Energy was not the first energy drink to ever hit the market. That was Red Bull. Monster Energy just came along and was like, oh hey, Red Bull's only selling these little 8-ounce cans of energy drinks. What if I doubled the size and sold 16-ounce cans and gave it an even cooler logo? Boom, multi-billion-dollar business right out of the gate. And you know the kicker with that, one of the top executives that helped initially launch Monster and market it was a top-level executive at Arizona previously, so he knew exactly what he was doing with the big can strategy.
Oh, wow.
In Don Voltaggio's own words, his marketing strategy is, and I quote, put tea in a big can and paint it pretty. Okay, if you learn nothing else from this video, just remember, people like big cans.
Did you say my name?
No, why?
You said big cans.
Yeah?
Well, that was my nickname in high school.
What?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that story?
No.
Yeah, so it all...
Wait, I saw that.
Cheer 100 big cans sell look at VTubers.
Hey. Do I have big cans? I don't think I do. Not to you, not overtly. And besides, they're all covered up. True. Now, at Red Acid, the new model, I'm not going to make it have huge cans. But I am going to show them off a little bit. Yeah, perfect. I better back that up. But, okay. Notice what Nick does, though. Thank you, Lurking Llama. They are nicely sized. And yes, I'm going to show off a bit more skin with the new model whenever I get a new model. Yes. But watch what Nick does when she walks over.
What?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that story?
No.
Yeah.
Drops the chair down.
It all happened back in 2009. I was a freshman, and so all these boys were just like all like in my face.
Oh my god. Nick, you're gonna get me kicked off Twitch.
Sorry, what?
Are you paying attention?
Yeah. No, I heard all of it.
Okay.
Sorry, anyways, we've got the business model. Classic value proposition, give more for less. Super simple,
He
easy to
does.
market, great, tried and true business strategy. Next thing, what are we going to name the company? So Don's thinking on it. He goes back home to his wife and he's looking at his house, and he lives in this like Spanish colonial, or sometimes referred to as Santa Fe style home. And he's like, cool, I'm just going to call it Santa Fe tea. When you think of tea, you think of hot, the desert. Santa Fe is perfect. We're going to
Yeah,
Santa
mock
Fe on the
drowning, they
can. He
do.
does a couple of designs. The word Santa Fe just, it doesn't look right. It doesn't fit. So he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to say Arizona tea. Don's never even set foot in Arizona, but he's like, it's fine. We're just going to call it Arizona tea. It'll be good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, next thing, gotta make the cans cool. Don's wife volunteers. She's gonna design all the cans. Perfect. We got everything we need. So now Don and John Farolito are gonna go to the bank, get a loan, and start their tea company. The bank hates it. They think it's a horrible, stupid idea, but they
Of course it
reluctantly end up
does.
giving the loan anyways for a couple of reasons. One, they're already successful businessmen. They already have a ton of money in collateral. And B, sometimes you just gotta bet on the player and not the game. So the bank, while they were wrong, they ended up making the right decision and loaned them the money to get started. So 1992, Arizona tea hits the shelves for the first time and pretty much is immediately outrageously successful. And from here, it's pretty much 3 decades of Don Voltaggio being a fucking gangster about absolutely everything. Don wakes up one morning, decides he wants to start selling giant 1-gallon jugs of tea. He starts making the tea, takes it to the distributor. The distributor's like, hey, this is never gonna sell. At which point Don is like, cool, you're never right about anything. Go ahead and put it on the shelf anyways. We'll see what happens. Now it's in like every grocery store in America. He decides he wants to come out with a new flavor of tea, honey and ginseng green tea, and then he has his wife design this beautiful can. At which point he takes
It is a beautiful
criticism,
can.
like, hey, men are never gonna drink that tea because it's a girly colored can. At which point he's like, fine, I'll just sell it to women then. Fast forward a decade later, it's their best-selling
Ew.
flavor and probably one of the most iconic product designs of all time, and it's
Yep.
all because he
Okay. I'm going to partially disagree with that being the most iconic design of all time. Because while it is a very beautiful design, I think that the more southwestern like bannering design. Let me see if it's on one of the other ones. Hang on. No, not that one. Okay, I don't see it anywhere. So the original design where it was the southwestern banners like on the top and the bottom, like this but more so. I think the checkered pattern, but it was more of like a southwestern like Native American style. Like not checkered, but it was like the Native American style banners around the Arizona. I think that is more iconic than this one. This one is a staple, and it's a beautiful design, but I do not look at this and think of it as being iconic when it comes to Arizona iced tea. When I think Arizona iced tea, when it's mentioned, I don't think of this can. I don't. Yeah, the poncho pattern. Yeah, that's what I think of when I think Arizona iced tea. It is, I think of those cans, not necessarily this one.
a girly colored can, at which point he's like, fine, I'll just sell it to women then. Fast forward a decade later, it's their best-selling flavor and probably one of the most iconic product designs of all time, and it's all because he had his wife's back like a complete badass. He would also get a bunch of shit because he wasn't doing any marketing. Like, he had no marketing department whatsoever, to the point that whenever companies or interviewers or news sources would ask, you know, hey, how big is your marketing department? He would reply, pretty big. About 6'8", in fact, referring to himself because he was the only guy that did any marketing, which honestly wasn't much.
Yep.
They weren't worried about product placements and being a Super Bowl commercial and all this other dumb shit that all the other brands do, because Don knew that he had the value proposition on his side. He knew that he was selling more tea for less, and he was putting it inside of a cool can, and the product would sell itself, and he was absolutely right. Okay, fast forward to 2008, Arizona Tea is huge. They have their own factory, everything's paid off, they're making a ton of money, they're the #1 ready-to-drink tea brand in the country. At this point, the company is worth over
Bobcat. Thank you. Thank you.
$1 billion, and John Farolito, who over the past decade has become more and more of a quiet partner as Don just kind of took everything over and John just got to, you know, reap the rewards. He comes out and he's like, hey, we could literally sell this company and make billions of dollars and just be retired billionaires that wake up and do whatever the fuck we want all day, every day. We should sell the company. To which Don was like, no, Absolutely not. I'm not selling this company because if I sell this company, what are my sons going to do? Both his sons were his top level executives with him, literally his right and left hand man. And he knew that if he sold out, he wasn't going to get to hang out with his sons because every single day, Don Voltaggio has a 2-hour family style lunch with both of his sons and his wife inside of his big ass office in his factory. Okay, just so we're all on the same page,
Nice.
Don Voltaggio could have cashed out and been a billionaire with a fucking B and said, nah, I'd rather hang out with my kids. Go fuck yourself. That is the most gangster thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, Aaron, you're right. I would absolutely classify it as wholesome versus gangster, but this is Nick. So, yeah, I can see why him saying gangster as fuck, wholesome as fuck, lurking llama. Yeah, that's definitely more appropriate. In terms of what it actually is, not like that he's using bad language or anything. But it's Nick. Of course he's gonna say it's gangster. And Bath, like, new outfit, like, we're talking at least 9 months away. It's not coming anytime soon. Sorry. Well, I mean, King Elson, it's, at the same time, it's, if he cashed out, he would not be able to ensure that his son stuck around either. Which is not being said. He's making sure his son's stuck around. And that if he sold it, the new owners might say, okay, yeah, we're bringing in our own people. We're kicking you out. He said, so I'd say it wasn't said, but that was probably in the underlining right there. Is he's going to stick around to make sure his sons still have a place in the company. And they don't get sidelined by some dickhole that they sell the company to, just says, we want to bring our own people in there. Exactly, Aaron. He's ensuring their futures. And one day they'll probably take over the company and keep it in the family.
Like, imagine how his sons feel about him after that. You know what I mean? Like, imagine going to work with your brother and your dad all day, every day, knowing that the only reason that you're there right now was because your dad got offered to be a billionaire. Like, basically a king or an emperor of capitalism in America, essentially. Like, your dad could have just been, like, the guy doing whatever he wanted for the rest of his life.
Yeah, King Elson? Or he could one day turn the company over to them and make them about 5 times, and they can make about 5 times as much as that. Cowboy, I'm not sure. I have to look and see if I can actually get Arizona around here. I'm not even sure I can get Arizona iced tea around here, honestly. I have to look. I haven't, like, looked for any for a while. If I do have them around here, and I have a decent variety, maybe I will do an Arizona taste test. Maybe I will.
To be honest, although bigger cans may look better and many people prefer them, I personally prefer someone with a more average BC cup when I'm dating. It just looks better for me without clothes.
Remember when I said about clothes being the sexy wrapping, though? And yes, a good C cup, or even a smaller D cup, I do find more attractive than the huge honking, like, double Ds. I do. I've never understood the big draw for, like, the double Ds or bigger. I think a nicely formed C or even D is perfect. That's my opinion.
But no, he decided he was going to have your back instead, and now you get this awesome job with your family. Like, it's dad goals to a degree that I didn't even know existed. So
anime booba physics don't register.
John obviously wants to sell. He wants to take his money and run, which kind of understandable. So he's like, you know what? Fine. Don, you keep your half of the company. I'm going to take my half and I'm going to go sell it to some investment firm or something, and I'm going to get my money and I'm going to retire. To which John Voltaggio is like, no, you're not. Absolutely not. You are not about to sell half of my company to some investment firm that's going to want to take it public, and then an army of MBAs is going to march in here and try to tell me how to run my business that I built from the ground up when none of them have accomplished anything at all. Okay, I'm worried about taking care of my employees and my family and putting a lot of tea in pretty cans, and these MBAs are going to march in here and they're going to be worried about one thing, and that's getting a return on their investment, which is a fancy way of saying they're trying to make money for doing fucking nothing. So Don and John go to court and battle it out for the next 8 years. They reach a confidential agreement outside of court. Nobody knows what it was. Nobody knows the terms. Nobody really knows what happened. All we know know is that John got paid out $1 billion, and now Don Voltaggio owns
Damn.
100% of Arizona Tea as of 2015. So clearly, they just paid out $1 billion. It's been 23 years. They have to raise the price of the tea, right? Absolutely not. Don is 100% against it, and he's going to do anything and everything he can to not raise the price of the 99-cent can. What on earth could his reasoning possibly be? You know, I'm just going to let him tell you.
Why not increase the price and therefore increase the profit?
We're successful. We're debt-free. We own everything. Why have people who are having a hard time paying their rent have to pay more for our drink? Maybe it's my little way to give back.
This dude's just a complete gangster. I don't know what else to tell you. That dude literally has woken up every day for the past 3 decades and just told inflation to go fuck itself. He's literally the only multi-billion dollar...
Yeah. He is absolutely based. But here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. Nick calling him a gangster and us saying that he's based actually feels too hard of a word. Excuse me. He's like wholesome feels far more appropriate. And yeah, it's a softer word. It doesn't elicit like the big, like kick-ass man. It's not like a kick-ass manly sounding word, but let's be honest. That is wholesome. Far more than it is based or gangster. It is just flat out wholesome. And I mean, it's yeah. He's a good guy that sounds like his heart is where it should be. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't sound manly, but god damn is it powerful. It is. You don't need to use kick-ass terms like based or gangster to elevate this man. Wholesome feels like a far better fit and a more powerful fit than anything else. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Llama. Absolutely. And that's why I'm saying that you don't need kick-ass words to elevate him to that status. It's awesome.
CEO that came out and was like, you know what? I'll just make less money. That is completely unprecedented, okay? Like, I love capitalism. I think it is the greatest system that humans have ever come up with. That being said,
okay,
it's got
Potato,
a ton of
have a good night.
and it would be so much better if everybody acted like that. Buh! This is all a complete lie because last time I saw one at the gas station, it was over $1. Buh! Yeah, that does happen. That's actually the local store that you're at marking the price up higher than MSRP. Arizona Tea still sells their product below $1 and recommends that they sell it for 99 cents. If other companies raise it more than that, Arizona can't really do anything about it. So yeah, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that your local convenience store is scalping tea.
Yeah.
It's the world we live in. So other than Don simply being willing to just make less money, buy a smaller yacht, if you will, what else is Arizona Tea doing to cut costs to maintain this price point? Over time, they've done quite a few different things, one of which is they actually changed from selling 23-ounce cans to 22-ounce cans. And the reason they did that wasn't by selling, 1 less ounce of tea is going to save us all this money. They didn't really give a shit about the tea itself. What they did was they went to the can manufacturer and said, hey, we want you to make our cans thinner and use 40% less aluminum so that we save a bunch of money on the raw material.
That makes actually perfect sense. Like immediately that's where my brain went to because it's the tea itself is probably dirt fucking cheap to make. It is absolutely dirt cheap to make the tea itself, especially in huge batches. All of the cost is indeed would be the manufacturing of the cans. The aluminum cost, the printing cost, all of that. That's where all the money would be going to. And the tea is going to stay the same. It's fantastic.
material end. So they actually ended up making the can a tiny bit smaller and then making it significantly thinner all the way around and having a different top so that they could save a bunch of money on the can itself. In addition to that, they also figured they could save a bunch of money on fuel by not delivering their tea during the day to all the different stores. All their trucks run exclusively at night.
And Disabled Gamer, thank you for the follow and welcome.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page, all the different stores, all their trucks run exclusively at night. Okay, just so we're all on the same page, just so we're all hearing what I'm saying. In order for Arizona Tea to maintain their cheap price point for the rest of us, they're also gonna make us suffer by reducing the amount of traffic. This might be my favorite company on the planet. They need to add that to the marketing, honestly. Big cans, pretty, there's less fucking traffic, okay? It's a trifecta. Okay, do you understand how crazy that is? Like, before, they were just saving you money. But now, in order to keep saving you money, they're also being forced to save you time, okay? It violates the laws of physics somehow. It has to.
Damn, Neil deGrasse Tyson! How are you doing that?
Physics, Terry. It's physics.
This is my new favorite company, okay? I don't even drink Arizona Tea. I'm starting today. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. I thought for sure Arizona Tea was going to be up to something like every other company I look into, but no, they're not up to anything nefarious. They're not secretly being funded by the government. It's just Don Voltaggio, the owner, woke up every day for 30 years and decided to be a fucking badass. When they told him his 1 gallon jug of tea idea was dumb and it wasn't going to work, he said, cool, I'm going to go ahead and sell it anyways, and it worked. He believed in himself. When his wife designed this awesome can and they said nobody's gonna buy it because it's girly, he said, cool, I'm gonna sell it anyways. He believed in his wife.
Thank you, Taurus.
When it came time to sell out, retire, and be a billionaire, he said, but then I'm not gonna get to hang out with my sons. He had his kids back. He was a good dad. And when the time came to raise prices because everybody else was doing it, he said, nah, I don't need to make more money. I'll just make less. He was a good person. And despite all of that, despite the fact that he did everything wrong and he put money last as the business owner and the guy running the show, he still ended up being a billionaire worth over $6 billion. And more importantly, he used to have lunch with both of his boys every single day, which is something I don't think any other billionaire can say. And in a lot of ways, that probably makes him the richest man on earth. So in my opinion, that's the key to Arizona Tea's success. Don't chase the money, chase the goal. The money will come after. Even if the goal is something as simple as putting a lot of tea in a big can and making it pretty. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over the FatElectrician.com. Quack bang, out. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go play with some big cans of my own. Hannah! What are you doing?
That was great. I mean, when it's labeled as being the most gangster beverage company on earth, it's kind of a misnomer. Because it's not gangster, it's just fucking wonderful. It's a wonderful family man who wants to stay that way.